Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie and we're here with my June vlog. We are already on the 3rd of June. I honestly had forgotten that I was gonna do a vlog for June because I've just had lots of stuff going on, and then I was just like looking at the videos that I was gonna have up at the start of July and realized like, oh shit, I was gonna do this so that I could share stuff from Babe. So here we are doing the little intro. It's the 3rd today. I've already finished 2 books and let's talk about those, and then we'll talk very briefly on a bit of a plan for June. So first up, I started and finished Pack Darling Part 1 by Lola Rock. Bought this in preparation for Babe, and I really liked this. I'm just getting something else. This is Omegaverse, which isn't usually something I super enjoy. I'm very new to it. And there are some that I have started and been like, no, this one isn't for me. This one is definitely intense. All of the Omegaverse that I have read so far has been really intense and kind of dark, which is not usually something I really go for in my romance. But I did enjoy this one. That being said, it's one of the darker things I've read, I think. Especially the ending was quite traumatic, and it wasn't something that personally like triggered me, but it was definitely like, oh, oh damn, that's a lot. And but I still had a lot of fun reading this. I do have part 2 right here. I'm going to be taking these up to Sydney with me. It's Sunday and I leave on Wednesday. So I will probably end up trying to read this one maybe like Wednesday, Thursday. And yeah, looking forward to it. I met Lola Rock very briefly at Rare while Angel was getting her book signed, and she was super lovely, so I'm excited to actually talk to her having read the books, hence why I think I want to try and read part 2 before the event, which is on Friday, Saturday. So that's book number 1 for the month. And then I also read Well Met by Jen DeLuca, which is a contemporary romance set at like a Renaissance fair. Why did I say Renaissance? Renaissance fair just doesn't sound right, even though that is how we say Renaissance. This was a reread for me. I read this years and years ago. I remembered not really enjoying this at the start, and I've very much felt the same way this time, of where there were definite moments of like, do I like this? But in the end, I think I really did. I had a fun time reading it. It's pretty, you know, it's a relatively standard contemporary romance in a good way. So I had fun rereading it. The whole purpose of rereading it was to continue the series. So I've already put book 2 on hold at my ebook library so that I can read that. I think it's due in like 5 weeks. So I have quite a bit of time before that one comes around, but still looking forward to it when it does. I think book 2 is honestly one of the ones in the series that I'm not that fussed on. Like, I don't really care, but I think that's because one of the characters the female lead, we met in the other books and was kind of like a friend to the main character, but yeah, felt fine about her. And we haven't met the male lead at all, so I just don't feel that invested in this story in comparison to especially book 3, which I'm really excited for. So there's those. Let's talk a bit about plans. So I think I have 2 books that I want to try and finish before Wednesday. I do have a bit of other stuff going on. So today I have an assignment that I need to finish. I think I have 400 words, if that I need to still do. And I had to film this stuff. I realized literally last night that I hadn't done any of the videos or any of the blog posts that I'd planned to do before leaving for Babe, because I'm not going to take my laptop or anything up. So that was a great moment of discovery last night and did not make me feel stressed at all. So I think literally my goal is to read one of my books for Sierra. You'll see that in the vlog. And then the other day I started Death in Ecstasy by Neo Marsh, and I read the first 90 pages. Really enjoying this one so far. So it's like a 256 page book. It's not gonna take too long, so I think this one, that one for Sierra, and something on my Kindle for my commute will be the books that I read between now and Wednesday. And then I will come back and update you on Wednesday if I finish those things. But I am not taking my microphone or anything to Sydney with me either. I'm gonna take my phone to record some stuff. Yeah, just like at the event. But I will come back afterwards and let you know what I read while I was there. We are going for like 5 days, and the event is on like 1.5 days. So we'll have some time to read, hopefully. Like I said, we'll definitely be taking this one and then probably just reading the things that I pick up. And yeah, but I will be back on Wednesday, hopefully with this finished and maybe something else read as well. On that note, I should get back to that essay, which I really am not enjoying. It's about James Joyce, so love that for me. And I'll see you all on Wednesday. Hi friends. I said in a community post, which you may have seen, announcing that I'd be taking this break between mid-June and the start of July, and I mentioned that my trip to Sydney for Babe did not end on a high note, and it definitely didn't. On our last night in Sydney, Angel and I got some room service from the hotel, and I ended up with food poisoning, which then wound me up in hospital in Sydney. It was great fun. Highly enjoyed that. Totally. It was the best end to what was otherwise a wonderful trip. So I'm doing okay now. I wanted to film this clip because I feel like I'm getting sick with something else now, like a head cold or something, and I can already hear my voice going. So I wanted to film this because I have quite a bit to talk about. And then probably just not update this vlog for a few more days. But otherwise I was kind of worried that I was going to have like 10 books to talk about in one thing, and that sounds like a disaster. So I didn't read too much while we were away. I think I read almost every day, but I just didn't finish one of the things I was working on. we're going to talk more about that stuff later, but let's talk about the things that I did read. Now, the first thing, I had to go back and check the first vlog clip because I thought I'd mentioned this, but I don't think I did. I can't remember exactly when I read this, but it was this month. And that is The Spectre by J. Bree, which is the first novella in her new series, The Mortal Fates. So there is, there are 2 prequel novellas before the first book, which has just been released. So I had been planning to read these novellas like back to back. Didn't do that. Read the first one. I'm not usually a novella kind of person. Like between like a novella, what am I even trying to say? Like I often don't read I often don't read novella length prequels or like, 1.5, 2.5, whatever. I'm just bad enough at reading like series anyway. I don't need to complicate it with 0.5s. But I do love J. Bree, and I was told by Angel and a number of other people that these were a good setup for the first book. So I did it, vaguely enjoyed it. We'll get to the second one at some point. And then while away, I basically had a ice hockey moment. I read 4 ice hockey books in a row, and I started others, and I read a few like different genres, like some fantasy and stuff in between, but nothing that I finished. So I essentially read 4 ice hockey romances back to back, and I have no regrets. The first one was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I had started this maybe 2 weeks ago and finally finished it off. I read most of this. I think I was about 45% of the way through before this week, and I think I finished it like Thursday afternoon. I really enjoyed this, had a good time. Will be buying myself a physical copy before book 2 is out, but I don't know when that is, so sometime in the future. And then I read That One Night by Emily Rath, which is 0.5 in the Jacksonville Rays series. There I am proving myself wrong. Again, don't often read novellas. Was told that I basically had to read this one before reading the first one, and I have started that one, and yes, I would agree with that statement. Definitely worth reading the novella beforehand because it gives you so much context to everything that I feel like otherwise would probably make very little sense in the first section of the book. And this was okay. I feel like with novellas it's like it's short, especially ones that are just setting up series, rather than like a standalone novella. It's hard to kind of judge them, I think, because it's like, well, it's just kind of important fillery stuff. So it was fine. And then I found another ice hockey series just on while I was scrolling through Instagram. This was the Carolina Comets series by Tegan Hunter, and I read the first 2 books back to back. So Puck Shy and Blind Pass. These were fun. Honestly, these are almost the same book with different tropes and different characters, but to the point where sometimes characters from book 1 and book 2 would say basically the exact same things, and sometimes they would say the exact same sentence. And it's not like, oh, this is a moment that happened in book 1 that also coincides with book 2's timeline. This is straight up just like completely irrelevant, and they both just say the exact same thing. So that being said, I did have fun. I did read most of book 3. We're going to talk about all of that in a minute. I've now switched out of the ice hockey romance, and now that I'm back with my physical books, I am trying to focus on them. So I finished up Death in Ecstasy by Naomi Marsh, which I didn't manage to do before leaving. I enjoyed this. It's not my favorite of the series. At times this was really complicated in terms of the kind of like slang language that was used. A lot of it I was like, I have no idea what that means, because that word means something else now, and I don't think that's the same connotation. But I did have fun, and it was nice to just come home and quickly take something off my TBR, so that the TBR is large and I am panicking now. So it was nice to just immediately take something off. Okay, so as for goals for the next couple of days, I have made myself a promise that for the next 5 days, I cannot start any new books. I need to continue the books that I've already started, because I just have a lot of them on the go. I mean, I always do, but I feel like right now I especially have a lot on the go, and I just need a couple of days to just like sit with them and actually push through. And also I just feel like I have so many, I have so many new books from Babe that I want to read all of them, and I know that if I let myself get into that mindset, I will start most of them and not finish any of them. So instead, we're keeping with that idea of finishing some things off first. I have 3 here that I am particularly that's not a word. Particularly working on is what I meant to say. So the first one I have is Scarlet Princess by Robin D. Merle and Al Madison, which is one of the Babe ones. Pretty much as soon as I picked this one up from the event, I was like, this is going to be one of the first series that I read. Robin and Al was so nice and so funny that I was like, I just want to get to this one, because they were like talking about a few things and I was like, okay, I need to understand that reference. So I've read 71 pages. I just started this last night, so excited to continue that. It's pretty short and it's a really quick read, so I think I'm going to finish it pretty quickly. And then these 2 I haven't technically started, but I am counting them as started for the next few days, because one is our book club read and the other is a buddy read, and I really need to do them over the next few days. So first one is Dark Rise by C.S. Bakar, which is the book club pick for last to read on Ko-Fi. So this was Ash's pick for this month. We have a new system over on the Ko-Fi where our members pick the books, and this was Ash's selection. So this is a reread for me. I read it in 2021. I have a whole vlog about this, so if I remember, I will try and link it. I was trying to think which one the card is in, but I'll probably forget to do the card and just link it below. I believe everyone else has started at this point, so I need to get on that because I did not read the book for last month. And I feel bad about it, but I just ran out of time. So this one, looking forward to. And then my buddy read, I'm super, super excited for, because I will be rereading Tilly and the Book Wanderers, which is the first book in the Pages and Co series by Anna James, one of my favorite series of all time. And I will be buddy reading this one with Helen from Helen's book Haven. So excited for this one. Helen and I have read a couple of middle grades together at this point, and honestly I just have a good time. Because it's nice when you do a buddy read and the person you're buddy reading with is like as relaxed about it as you are. That's my biggest tip when starting buddy reads, is find those people who like are the same level of intense about buddy reads. And I feel like Helen and I just kind of, we take it easy, we read and we chat and it's all good. But so excited for this one. And then we are reading the whole series over the next like 2 months. So very excited for this one, so excited. We selected this date maybe like a week and a half ago, and I've been just counting down until I can start this. So those are 3 of the ones I'm going to focus on, and then I think otherwise I'm just going to go through what I've started back here already, what I might have on my Kindle, and also making sure that I am reading the books I let my friends pick, because I have started a number of them and I just haven't finished them. So that will definitely be a priority over the next few days as well. But for now, that's it. I do have some Babe clips, very few of them. I think I'm going to talk more about those in a few days. We're going to see if I do end up getting sick with whatever this thing I think is. I just want a couple of days to go over the stuff and see how I can put it together. I might do yeah. The clips are very random and I feel like they make no sense, so I feel like I just want to tie them together in some way, and we'll see how that goes. But I just don't have the energy for that today. So you may see that right now, and that's it. Okay, I am dropping back in here to talk about Babe. And my time in Sydney, I got literally 5 clips of the actual event, and I feel like they make no sense. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the event and my time in Sydney, and then and we'll show you the clips. So we flew up, we being my best friend Angel and I, on the Thursday. There'd been quite a few flight cancellations ahead of Rare for people who flew in on the day. So we wanted to make sure that we were there and we were comfy and relaxed by the Friday. So we flew up on Thursday, hung around around the hotel sort of area, got some food for a couple of days and all that kind of stuff. Had a nice chill night. And then on Friday morning we went for a quick little walk, and then we had our makeup and hair done. So Friday night was the ball aspect, mostly the VIP night of the event. That was the night that we decided to dress up. So then we headed to the event around 6. We were a little later, so by the time we got there, the doors hadn't opened, but there was quite a line. We got in pretty quickly and it was a huge room. I wish I'd taken footage of the room itself because it was massive, and especially on the Friday night it was like dead. I think there'd been 300 tickets sold. It was kind of scarily empty. Like there were lines for things, but the room was so big that it just seemed so dead in there. It's very weird. So the Friday night we spent some time doing some of our bigger authors. So Angel spent most of her time waiting for Tate James and Jame and Eve. I wasn't meeting either of them, so I went around and got a few others, and it was kind of a bit of a stressful night. It definitely, like, it went until about 10, I think, and I think we left at about like 9:45, and it was stressful. It was very stressful, but we were fine. We were fine on the Saturday. We got all of our pre-orders picked up. We managed to have a little walk around and talk to some authors that we hadn't got books from, and we bought a couple of extras, and you'll see all of that in my haul, which is already up at this point. And then I think we ended up leaving the event a little bit earlier as well. Yeah, I think around like 3 or so we were like, yep, we're good. We're good, we're done, we're tired. And on the Saturday night we were also going out for dinner with Lana and what used to be the Babe Book Club, which was nice. We didn't hang around there too long either. We were really tired, but we got to hang out with Lana and with Kat and met a few other people there, which was really cool. These clips for Babe that I'm about to share are the decorations that were around. So there were some pretty trees, and each of the rows of authors had names, and also there were these massive teacups everywhere that literally I would drink that. I would drink that entire thing of tea. And also for our lovely Last to Read Ko-Fi members, I want to show you this picture, because Lana and I were trying to get a photo with this cow, but it didn't work out. And then on the Sunday we had a brunch, which was a separate, run by the event but separate. Yeah, we just chilled there for a little bit, and then we went and sat down and read, and then we decided we'd go to the aquarium because we wanted to do something. We wanted to be out of the hotel because they hadn't been cleaning our room, so we wanted to be out for like a few hours. So we did the aquarium, and I think I probably took like 50 videos of the aquarium, and I took 5 in the actual event. So I'm not going to include all of them, but here are a couple of highlights from the aquarium. On the Monday, we just walked around a bit. We went to the Chinese Friendship Gardens. Took quite a lot of footage there. Here's some pretty views of that. And then we went book shopping. We went into 3 different bookshops.
We went into Kinokuniya, which was the only one that we bought anything in. We only bought one book each, which was incredible. So we did that, and then we also went into the Dimmicks there, which must have been going through renovations, because like the whole front of the store was just empty, but there was like no information about what was happening. So we walked in and we were like, what the hell? And then we also, actually the first one we went to was Abby's. We had probably one of the worst experiences I have ever had in a bookshop. In this bookshop. I've been there before quite a few times, I think 3 or 4 times, and it's always been really good, and they've always been super nice. And this time we had such an awful experience with the people working there that I would not recommend going to this bookshop at all. Which is a pity, because it is a good bookshop. They reasonably priced and everything like that, and they have like a huge section upstairs that's like sci-fi, fantasy and romance. But we had such a bad experience that we genuinely walked out of there both feeling a little bit depressed. So did not love that, but yeah, we had a look around and everything else was reasonably good. Had a good time, and that night we went back to the hotel and decided we were going to have room service, and so we did. And then we watched The Mummy, because that is something that Angel and I do consistently. We pretty much, anytime we hang out like here at my house, we will watch something of The Mummy. Usually the first one, but sometimes the sequels. We just love this movie so much. It's my favorite movie of all time. So we did that, and then around 2 a.m. I woke up with food poisoning from the room service, and I was not in a good shape. And I slept for 2 hours, and the next morning, after trying really hard along with my diabetes team and with Angel and with my partner Alex, I made the decision that I needed to go to the emergency room, and we did that. We went in the ambulance, and honestly they were so great. They let Angel take all of our luggage with us. She was heading home later that afternoon, and it looked like I was going to be spending at least the night in there, which I did end up doing. So Angel went home and my partner Alex came up for a couple of days to look after me, and we did okay. I wasn't so the reason that I went into hospital is because I went into DKA, which is diabetic ketoacidosis, and is something I have gone through regularly. And the pump mostly stopped it, but because I was actually unwell with something else, it could only kind of go, it could only help to a certain level. I wasn't as sick as I've been in the past, but I was not good either. So yeah, I spent a little bit of time in hospital, and then Alex and I spent a couple of hours in Sydney, not even Sydney, just like the outskirts of the city, and we went into some more bookshops, and yeah, just looked after me. And then we flew home, and his mum had been looking after the boys, so they were all good. And I got home, and all of my books that I had sent from Babe, didn't mention that I had packaged and sent them back, but they had all arrived, so I got to go through those. And that's the whole Sydney trip, and that is it. And we're going to jump back into past Ellie, talking about what I read for the rest of the month. So that thing that I thought I was coming down with, yeah, that turned out to be COVID.
That was the first time I've had it in the whole pandemic, and it was shit. I am vaccinated and blah 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 blah, so like it wasn't that bad, but it was not an enjoyable experience. It's Monday today, so it was quick. It was like a week, but I am not recovered yet. I'm just recovered enough to film, and I put a little bit of makeup on this morning and stuff like that so that I didn't look entirely dead. But I wanted to come on and update you, and yeah, that was what the thing was. And I did sleep for about 4 days straight, and I'm just sort of now starting to function as a human being again. So that's been the last week. I didn't really read a lot, but I did also not start any new books for a couple of days because I was asleep and thus didn't read anything. But since then I have started quite a number of things. I finished some of those things, but most of them no. So we're gonna update you on everything, and then hopefully I will have one last clip either at the very end of this month or the very start of July, just to wrap up what I managed to finish between now and then. So I did finish up Scarlet Princess. I don't know what day anymore. It's honestly the only way I've been telling the days is by whether like my partner's at work, whether he's working from home, or whether he has like uni. So days are a mix. But I did finish this one. I didn't love this, and I'm genuinely very, very disappointed that I didn't love it, because I'd read the first, I don't know, probably the first 25 pages as an ebook, and I really liked that. And then I read more of this, and I think that up until like maybe even page like 200, 150, 200, I was loving it. And then I just felt like in the end the pacing was so off, of like there was all this stuff that I knew needed to happen by the end of the book, but none of it was happening, and then all of it happened, and then so at the end it just kind of felt like a glob. I don't know. I thought that this was like a one book per couple kind of situation, but I think actually it's the entire series following the lead character, which is the Scarlet Princess, named Rowan. And yeah, so anyway, I had it in my mind that it was like that, but even then it was still like a lot of stuff still needed to happen before the end of the book, and it was just so rushed at the end. So I'm really sad that I didn't like this, because these two authors I met at Babe, and they were so lovely and so hilarious, and then I just didn't love this. I'm hoping I'm gonna like book 2 more, but I think that I will probably wait until like mid-July to pick that one up. We'll see. Anyway, I did read it. It's done. And then I didn't know what I wanted to read after that one, so I picked up 3 different books, and the one that ended up sticking was Antigua de Fortune of the High Seas by Anna Rainbow and Ollie Hyatt, which is a little middle grade fantasy about like pirates and mermaids and things like that. I also didn't love this one. Again, this had kind of had the same situation of where it was really, really good, and then there was just too much packed into the end. This one is a standalone, or at least the story did end with the end of the story. So it was just very rushed at the end, and I really didn't like the ending. This one, I still liked it, even though it wasn't quite as good as I was hoping for. This one, by the end I was kind of bored and I just wanted it to be over. So not the greatest experience reading this one, but I did it. It's a book off my TBR, and I'm gonna unhaul it immediately. I feel like I'll donate it to an op shop, and there'll be like a kid out there who absolutely loves this. But I read it. It's fine. And then yesterday afternoon I got the urge to read some alien porn, so I did that. This is Emperor by Anna Hackett, which is book 2 in the Galactic Kings series. I got this one at Rare. It's so funny, now that I have all my books from Babe, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to read everything I got at Rare. Like, I haven't had them since the end of April. But I'm not complaining. I read a book. I really enjoyed this one. This is fun. They're nice, and like they're reasonably quick. This is like 270 pages. It was fun. Had a good time. Hoping to pick up book 3 in the next couple of days, but we'll talk about that in a second. But I loved this. And also, like, I'm 99% sure this is Wanda, I think, which is pretty cool. If you know, you know. And then, so let's talk about some of the other things that I started during that time, and also this one other thing. Okay, so let's start with reading. So I did read a little bit of Pages and Co. I've read the first 65 pages, which is the first 4 chapters, so it's that's the start of chapter 5 there. I'm very much enjoying taking this slow. Thank God Helen, when I messaged her and was like, I have COVID and I've been really sick this week and I'm so sorry that I haven't like checked in and let you know. Thank God that Helen was like, I've been reading it really slowly too, you're fine. So thank God. I am hoping to just slowly continue with this. Hoping to sort of maybe make to about page 100 in the next day or so. I do kind of want to try and finish this by the end of the month, just so that I have something marked off, but we'll see how we go. And then I did start another 2. The first one of which was Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't know, I thought I was in the mood for something kind of contemporary that wasn't necessarily a romance. And I read the first 17 pages and no, this wasn't really the thing I was after. Honestly, I think I will probably just take the bookmark out and return this to my shelf, because I don't think I'm going to continue it right now, but I will give it another day or 2 to see if I do come to it. And then the other one was A Declarations of the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Parry. I read the first 28 pages of this one, and I think I am going to continue this one, but it has tiny writing, so I think it's tiny writing and it's a big book. I think it's going to be one that takes me quite a while to get through, but that's fine. So that'll definitely be one I think I end up finishing in July. I don't even know if I said the date, but it's the 26th of June today, and I'm hoping to finish 3 more books before the end of the month. One of those is going to be one of my friend picks. So I have 2 other things, and I think, one of them will be the next Anna Hackett. I don't know what the other thing is going to be. I'm just going to play it by ear and see what I end up reading. It might end up being Pages & Co. And we'll see. We'll just see what I end up picking up. But then, last thing I wanted to very quickly talk about was the other day I was just sitting here and I had a package arrive. And it was this book, which is Frossart, Rise of the World Eater by Jamie Littler, which is the 3rd and final book in this series. And as you might be able to tell, this was a gift. This is from Tracey. And she said, I hope you enjoy this one, which is so lovely. And it came the other day, and it was such a nice little gift. I was feeling a bit down and out about being sick and just, a bit emotionally exhausted from hospital and all this stuff lately, and it was just really nice to have a gift arrive. And Tracey is one of the loveliest people, as I'm sure many of you know. And also, I dropped into some sprints that Meredith was doing, and Tracey was there, and both her and Meredith and just like everyone were being so nice and checking how I was doing and everything like that. And this is just a mushy little moment to say thank you to everyone who has been checking in on me, especially Tracey for the gift, and of course Mel as well, who is just like constantly making sure that I am alive and making sure that I'm doing okay and everything like that. So I appreciate everyone who checks in and sends me well wishes and everything like that. But yeah, I will be back at the end of the month, hopefully with 3 books finished. I am running a little bit behind on my reading goal just from this month, and I'm not going to make it because I think I have to read like 6 or 7 books to catch up. But yeah, if I finish 3 more, that kind of keeps me on par with how much I read during a slow month. So I'm hoping that I can just hit that, and then hopefully July will bring some more reading time and some less being sick time. But I'll see you all in a few days. Okay, hello. It is now July. Very quickly just ending this up here with the last 2 books that I finished for the month, and then I will talk about other things that I started and my plans for July in the July vlog. And I also need to talk about Babe but I think I'm gonna have done that earlier. Anyway, last 2 things I finished for the month were Captain of the Guard by Anna Hackett, which is book 3 in the Galactic Kings series. I was originally planning to just immediately go into book 4, having just read books 2 and 3, but after this one I felt kind of a little exhausted and I felt like I needed a bit of a break from this. I still enjoyed this, but this is my least favorite of the series so far. I think because so in the first 2 books it's an alien man and a human woman, and these are both aliens, and like it's the like 2 second in charge people. Does that make sense? Like they're both second in charge to their respective kings and emperors and etc. So yeah, I didn't like that as much, and there's only 1 book left in the series, but yeah, I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I did enjoy it, but yeah, least favorite of the series. And then I also finished up Pages and Co. I had been taking this pretty slowly, but I think once I got to the kind of like 200 page mark, which is about halfway, I was like, I'm just gonna finish it just so that I have finished something else for the month. I was I finished this on the 30th and I was kind of like, oh god, I haven't read, you know, I wanted to read 13 books and I had read 12 and I was like, I'm not going to finish anything else, so I might as well push through with this one. And that's what I did. This was a reread. Still really enjoyed it, but I don't think this is my favorite of the series either. I don't know which one is. I'm looking at the other ones up here and I can't remember. I think maybe 2 or 3 were my favorite, but going to rediscover that soon. So yeah, those are the last 2 for the month. I'm about to go and start my vlog for July pretty much straight away, straight after I film that little bit for Babe, which you've hopefully already seen.